Okay, so today, before we talk about anything else, I gotta show my earrings. I really like these earrings, so I wanted you guys to see them today. But of course, that's not what I'm actually here to talk about. So, what I am here to discuss, though, is a little bit more serious than just earrings. So, as you probably are aware, the Fed made a decision on the 18th of March, 2026, in regards to interest rates. The overnight rate, that everybody says is impacting mortgage rates. So, let's talk about it. All right, so I am going to just kind of read through some of the notes that were provided from the meeting that they just had, and then give just a little bit more input in regards to it. You can always comment, like, share, follow, all that good stuff. Send me a message if you have questions and if you want to have an individualized conversation. But for here is where we are. So the FOMC did vote that the federal funds rate would stay where it is. It's a pause. So it's going to keep the 3.5 to 3.75, marking the second consecutive pause. And despite the pause, the officials are still projecting that they will have a 1/4 point rate cut in 2026 and then another in 2027, which would still match the December projections. That's what they've been saying. They just haven't done it yet, but they are still saying that that's what they anticipate being able to do. Federal Chair Jerome Powell stated that the inflation progress has stalled and hasn't really come down as much as he had hoped, which is factoring into obviously partially probably why they're voting and going in the direction that they are going. The Fed did note the uncertainty regarding the implications of developments in the Middle East, the war, which they're still not calling a war, they're only calling it a conflict, but anytime that you bomb and kill people and get rid of world leaders and stuff like that, I think that would be considered a war. So for me, I'm calling it a war because that's actually what it is. Growth. Economic activity is characterized as expanding at a solid pace. Labor market, job growth has ground to a halt. It slowed significantly as hiring pulls back, but unemployment remains pretty stable around 4.4%. Inflation right now they are considering as being somewhat elevated with recent upward pressure caused by energy supply disruptions and tariff-related price increases. So where's that coming from? All right, so anyway, the way that this is actually impacting the market right now in regards to what people are doing. So how are we seeing people behave, the behavior of consumers in regards to how the market is acting right now, right? So one, refinances, those are actually being impacted. So people are thinking twice about whether or not they want to refinance, especially if conventional. But I will tell you something that typically conventional, when you look at interest rates, conventional interest rates are typically not quite as favorable as or competitive as government rates. So normally if I have two customers with basically the same type of credit profile, my government rate is more than likely going to be a little bit lower than my conventional rate. So that's just one of those things. So people looking at conventional financing, they're oh Nelly, you're putting the brakes on, we're going to wait and see what happens, right? But as far as FHA, it's not really so much. So like, let's see, the conventional refinance applications decreased by 27% and FHA only decreased by 5%. So that's a pretty notable difference. Purchase applications will remain the same because people want to buy houses. I don't blame them. I like houses. Most people do like houses, right? So yeah, we are still in a position, I think, where looking at the market over the past few years and stuff like that, and really just saying, okay, look, I need to or get off the pot and, actually get out there, get into people are becoming more savvy and not being frightened by everything that they see and hear in the media. And they're, taking in information, analyzing it, observing what's going on, determining what's actually best for their household as opposed to whatever the narrative that's being presented. So kudos to us. I think that's good that we're doing that. That makes me really happy. Anyway, in conjunction with that, if you do have any kind of questions in regards to how to make decisions for your house, like, any more detailed information, making an analysis of your financial situations and projections, one of the things that I think is really important and that, we do as a team is that we don't just look at where you are right now, but we think about where you plan to be within the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And we think ahead. So when we talk about preparation is just not, for tomorrow or just for being able to buy the house this year. Preparation is for once you're in the house, what is that going to look like? So that's a conversation we could definitely have and discuss how this might impact you as far as the interest rates, because the interest rates were impacted a little bit. We got about a 20 basis point increase, which is, I don't think you're really going to feel that. Let's just say it that way. Unless maybe if you're in $1 million home, but usually we're able to negotiate a little bit differently for that. So anyway, You can always give me a call, 630-977-6150. House Money Mom. I'll be more than happy to help you. I just wanted to give you this information so at least we addressed it and it's not just kind of hanging in the balance without any kind of real explanation for it. So, here to talk. Drop me a note. Give me a call. I will see you next time.